Welcome to the How to Do Your 20s podcast. Now, this episode is going to be a little bit different than the usual episodes you've been listening to. I'll do next week or the week after that, I'm going to release an episode that's kind of an update on this first quarter of 2016. But this episode is going to be different because I've been busy working on my other site, and eventually it's a YouTube channel right now. Eventually it'll be more in the future. It's called Effective E-commerce. A lot of you guys know that my main gig is I run an e-commerce store myself. That's how I've been able to travel around and still make money. So I'm starting to teach other people how to make their own e-commerce stores. If you want to check out the YouTube channel, just type in Effective E-commerce into YouTube. You can find it there. I'll put a link in the show notes here. I'm also coming out with a course. It's called the 25K e-commerce profit plan. I basically took everything I know about e-commerce and I just piled all of it into this one course. It's going to be, I think, around 15 hours worth of content, which is way more than I thought. I put a ton of time into this course. So that's going to be one of the new things that I'm focusing on a lot more. So this led to an interesting thought. I have a friend of mine, Jordan Urbanovich, who's been on multiple episodes of this show. He told me, when I told him, I'm not going to be taking the How to Do Your 20s podcast quite as seriously. I'm not going to be releasing as many episodes. He said to me, well, do you mind if I put an episode up? And I said, yeah, sure. That sounds great. Which led me to another idea that if anyone listening to this right now has ever wanted to do podcasting and they want just a really simple way to start, send me an email, travis@howtodoyour20s.com, and I can post an episode, assuming I'll listen to it, assuming it's good enough quality and everything. I'll post an episode on here, and that way you can get your podcast out to a big enough audience and start spreading your message and start sharing some of your stories. So if you do have a podcast episode that you'd want to share with people, let me know. Send it to me and we can share it here. Now, this episode specifically, I'm about to start in just a minute or two, Jordan Urbanovich sent to me, and it was him and a person that he met through Craigslist ride sharing. And it was basically they traveled around the United States and they just have a really interesting conversation, and I figured it'd be good to share with you guys. So go ahead, listen to that conversation. Tell me what your thoughts are. I might have him post a few more episodes if you guys like the episodes. And once again, if you have some ideas for other episodes, always let me know. So here we go.
Okay. Okay. Welcome to the #Digital Nomadics podcast. We are on the road, on the way through Oklahoma, almost in Texas. We left Asheville, North Carolina. Where did you leave from, Chris?
Clinton, North Carolina.
Clinton, North Carolina. You left, what, 24 hours ago?
Just about, yeah. About 12:15 yesterday.
We've gone almost 1,400 miles. And this all came from Craigslist. So this is a Craigslist rideshare moment right now. This whole podcast conversation has been brought into this world because of Craigslist and connection to the internet. So I'm curious.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Chris, what's that?
Wind turbines. It's pretty cool.
So have you ever done a Craigslist rideshare before?
Nope, this is the first one.
And what made you do it? Without going too much into detail.
We had a planned trip, and my wife couldn't make it due to some personal reasons. Was unable to drive with me, so I had to find someone else to drive with. I didn't think I'd be up for doing it alone.
And how's it going?
It's going pretty well. Going pretty well. We're almost halfway there.
That wallet save made it.
Yeah, the wallet save was awesome.
Do you often meet people on the internet and do stuff like that?
Yeah, I met my wife on the internet.
We
We played a game on the internet together. I ended up getting married in 2002.
From meeting your wife on the internet?
Yeah. We met in 2000, got married in 2002.
How did you meet her?
We were playing Quake in a multiplayer mode, and ended up just hitting it off, getting together.
Would you attribute that to your low ping?
My criminally low ping? Yeah, maybe, perhaps. Sure.
But so can you explain for me and everyone, how did you get into the whole internet thing? Because you're what, 48?
47.
47. I'm 27. So you're 20 years older than me, yet you use the internet like me. You're a generation above me. How did it all start?
I grew up in a house. I built computers in the early 80s. From parts. And then, I stopped when I joined the Army in 1984. Signed up in 84, actually showed up in January of 85. And the whole computer thing kind of went on hold until I got out of the Army in 1997. I started a company and with another fellow from the Army, and then that got bought by some friends of mine, and then their company got bought by the local telephone company, and now I'm a network engineer for the telephone company.
What was like interesting about like telecoms to you?
It's just I got paid to do what I do anyway, sit around and tinker with computers and networking and circuits and stuff like that.
So like networking and circuits is just always
I got
been into it.
Yeah, just it's what I got. Basically I was the right technology at the right time. I was learning basically IP networking in the early 90s, and ended up starting a company in the middle 90s, and it got sold in the late 90s, and kind of coincided with a dial-up and then DSL networking boom, and it worked out pretty well for me.
And so right now you still do that stuff?
Yes, I still work for the company that bought some friends bought my company, and then they sold their company to the local telephone company, and that's where I still work now, 15 years later.
And you keep up with the technology, or is it all kind of the same stuff?
It evolves a lot.
Yeah.
It evolves a lot. Right before we left, I was setting up VRPE on a couple of Brocade switches to get some redundancy into our server room.
Okay. What is VRPE?
Virtual router redundancy protocol. So you have two routers, and they basically act as one router. So if one fails, the other one just picks up the slack and keeps on going. So basically lets you survive failure, and we know, but our customers don't know that we failed. Everything keeps working.
Now, did you use the internet in the military in the 80s? Like, wasn't the internet first around for the military?
It started as a DARPA project, and it was basically for government and non-commercial use only. I was mostly in the military out of the country. I didn't really have access to the internet when I was in the Army. I was doing other things.
You were in Latin America?
Most of the time, yeah.
And so there was no internet connectivity down there?
No.
Speak of?
We always use telephone connectivity most of the time.
Interesting. So when you got out of the military, that's when like you got into the internet thing?
Yes.
Okay.
An Army buddy of mine, were basically, carrying big heavy rucksacks in the rain, and we kind of had a conversation. There must be a better way to earn a living. And we started a company, and he got out of the Army first, so he was the first full-time employee. I was still in the Army for 18 months after we started the company. And when I got out, we did a couple of projects where we were hooking schools up to the internet, and that worked out pretty well for us. Learned a lot.
So were you using the internet? Like, when did you start playing Quake? Like,
when I got out of the Army in about 1997.
Okay, and so was that the first like person-to-person connection kind of thing you ever did?
Well, no, I did some
talking to people.
Well, probably with networking. I did some peer-to-peer gaming before that, but it wasn't over the internet.
Okay, because like I remember I was in it was 97, 98. I was something like 5th grade, 10 years old. My dad gets a modem installed into his old PowerPC Mac, and I was just enthralled. I would come home from school and just sit on that thing all day and load like 3 images all afternoon, because it was so slow.
Right.
But I was just enthralled. I was so curious, like how many bookmarks until I maxed it out. And then learning Angel Fire and GeoCities and how to make and Max Pages and how to make my own website and like really basic HTML stuff. And slowly but surely I started getting involved in communities, mostly through like Pokemon websites. But I started making friends and chatting with them on AOL Instant Messenger, and then later with MSN Messenger. But so basically, since I was 10 years old, I've been talking to people on the internet.
Right.
And it's pretty much way more than half of my life. That's been a part of my existence, is talking to random people from all over the world on the internet. So these days, now that everyone's on the internet and has the possibility to talk to random people and interact with people they don't know, a lot of people are scared of it. And so, to me, that just doesn't compute, because I've been doing this a long time. And, once I got into college, I started traveling through Europe and stuff, and I couch surf. I stay at people's houses, like I showed you my profile. Like, I've just been living with random people for a long time now, so that's just what I do. But then when we tell people, yeah, we're heading across the country with a Craigslist rideshare, they freak out. And they're like, what? Well, on Craigslist? Like, didn't you know someone murdered someone off Craigslist once? But anyway, I was just curious of where that came from your end, being 20 years older than me, because you met your wife on the internet using a video game, not even like a dating service.
Well, I did use the internet a little bit in the Army. We used to box up a computer and take it with us when we went to South America. And when we had power, we could go offline. We were not connected to the internet in South America at all in any way, shape, or form. But like one time we were in Venezuela, and we held the Venezuelan Open using a golf game on my computer. We all took turns playing golf. We called it the Venezuelan Open. But when I was back in the United States, I used BBCs. I used CompuServe. Before there was actually a World Wide Web. Read news groups, which was always kind of nice. They're still around today in kind of a limited form, NMTP. But so for me, the internet's where I find stuff out. Like, this is the first rideshare I've done on Craigslist, but I buy parts for computers all the time off Craigslist. Like, I have a personal server at my house, and I bought 32 gig of RAM for it off Craigslist from some guy in Raleigh. I bought entire computers for friends off Craigslist. When their computer breaks, they need help.
And you go meet them in person.
Yeah, I usually just go pick up the computer, pay cash for it, and leave. Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
You just got to be safe. You just meet them in a public place. If they say I want to meet you in a back alley at midnight, I would probably be like, no. But other than that, pretty much it's not a problem. I bought a laptop for a neighbor. You just go meet them at the mall and meet at the food court. They bring the laptop, you bring the cash, trade them off, and leave. No one's the wiser.
Yeah. About a year and a half ago, I finally met in person the first person I ever actually chatted with online. Because he lived in Minneapolis. I grew up in LA. 15 years later, we met in person.
Wow.
And we recorded one of these, actually. And what's really weird is we got along like we grew up together. We literally got up, like, when you have like a childhood friend that you just like always get along, even if you've totally gone in different directions.
I've got a few of those, sure.
Yeah, and you just always, it was just like that, and we were meeting for the first time. It was the trippiest thing. But, yeah, there was just that whole element of, it just feels natural to me, and I don't know if it's a product of my generation, because I think about my little brother, he's 7 years younger than me, and he's on his phone all the time, doing chatting stuff and this and that, but I never know if it's really with people he doesn't know or people within his actual network of friends, of real life friends. So it's always curious to me to see how people interact with other people on the internet, because it's changed a lot. In the beginning days of the internet, most of the time you kind of had no choice but to interact with people you didn't know, because the people you knew didn't have the internet yet.
Well, so did you get any responses? You also posted a Craigslist ad looking for a ride to California. I'd posted a Craigslist ad looking if anyone wanted to ride to California. Did you get any other responses besides me?
No serious ones.
No serious
I'll
ones.
tell you about them if you want.
Yeah, I'm curious. What did you hear?
I'm curious.
I had a couple
forwarded you
interesting
one,
ones.
Kaya.
Do what?
I forwarded you
I haven't
one.
checked. I haven't seen.
Yeah, okay. Well, basically, I posted kind of a funny one because I was kind of looking at it like, all right, if I find it, because I had already sent you a message,
Right.
and I felt like I was pretty direct with you. Like, I know you didn't want funny business, and I didn't want you to think it was anything different, like, than what we were, right? So I posted something very just like me, like from my heart or whatever. I did something similar in in New York a few weeks ago, and I was trying to get a guitar because I didn't have any musical instruments with me, and so I posted, "Hey, I'm the traveler coming through. I'd love to borrow a guitar from someone. Like, it would be really cool, and if you want to jam too, that would be great." And I know this is a long shot, blah, blah, blah. I posted it. Some guy got back to me, had me come over. We jammed music for a long time, and then he didn't just lend me a guitar. He gave it to me after.
Wow.
And he's like, "That was awesome, man. Thanks a lot." And it meant a lot to him to get to jam or something. So anyway, I thought I would do something similar with just being like me. Alright, so I put seeking a sunny ride to California. And then I put a picture of me playing the accordion in like a forest. So
Right.
It's very
On
playful.
1 foot.
Yeah, you saw that.
On 1 foot, yeah.
Oh, so you saw my ad.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Hey everyone. Well, what'd you think?
Well, I just read the text, and, that's about what I was looking for,
Okay, so
2 people was perfect for me. I like the fact it was 2 people, because it's still, I think driving cross country with 2 people sharing time driving is still a little dicey. You're probably going to have to stop and get a room somewhere and sleep. With 3 people, I feel pretty confident we can go the whole way without stopping for more than, like what we just did for an hour to eat, for bathroom break and then drive on. But, so I thought 3 people was perfect.
yeah.
So, I showed it to my wife, and she's like, "Okay, that'll work." And
Did the picture help?
What's that?
Did the picture help? The accordion one?
I don't know. I think I weirded her out a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's okay. She kind of looked at it and said, "Is he a hippie?" And I
Oh,
was
yeah, right.
But in any event,
Yeah, so I said my friend, 25 female, and I, 27 male, are on the lookout for a ride out to the West Coast as early as Wednesday the 8th. We're both the freelance digital nomad artist types, and as well, I'm a musician. You guessed it, accordion. Ideally, one or both of us would like to trade you a service of ours for the ride. Among other things, if you're a small business, band, organization in need of a promotional video, a happy couple in need of professional photos, an individual who wants a basic website, a beginner looking for some yoga instruction, or even a party that's missing that special accordion sound, maybe we can work something out, even before leaving Asheville. If trade isn't possible, we can make cash work too, not to worry. If you're a musician, I'm also very interested in busking with you to generate funds along the way. I'm well versed, blah, blah, blah. We would prefer to couch surf, sleep in the car, or camp along the way if you want to make stops. We're in no rush, but if you're in one, that's fine too. Then here's my couch surfing link, valid driver's license, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I guess people probably didn't think it was very serious. But I also thought if the right person saw that, it would be the perfect person to take us, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But the first response I got, still looking for ride, comma, comma. I'm headed to Modesto, comma, Caliph, comma, comma, comma. Can give ride, comma, comma. Send a number I can call, comma, comma. No text at all. Send a good pic of both that are riding. Willing to trade, barter with you. I would ask for a little phone sex with her. Maybe a hand job on the way.
Oh my God.
I pay all gas, food, etc. for all 3 of us. It goes on my travel account. Either of you are welcome to drive all you want. We can drive straight through if we all 3 drive. Please let me know. Send pic and number. So as you guessed, I didn't respond to that. And
Wow.
the next one I got was, can I suck your cock? Sent from my iPhone.
I think that's the same guy that responded to me.
Yeah, you got that one too?
Yeah, I think so.
And then the other one I got was the most legitimate one, but it wasn't a ride. It was some guy saying he has some small boxes that need delivering to Newport Beach and pay $50. We wouldn't have had room anyway. But yeah, and then he put a picture of himself. So that was the most legitimate response I got, but it wasn't offering a ride, it was just asking a favor. Which I appreciated him asking. It didn't work out, but it is what it is. So yeah, tell me about your responses.
Well, I think the same guy got back with me, wanting sex. I was like, okay, and moving on. I wish that did it for me, but it doesn't, so that doesn't work out. I had a really strange woman message me wanting to know if I'd tow her car from somewhere to California, and I'm like, that's just right out. This is a 100 horsepower car we're driving. I don't think you'd tow anything, let alone through the mountains. That's just not a good plan. and also she had kids and cats. And I was like, that just seems like more trouble than it's worth.
In the car, or you would have to bring them to your car?
I think she was going to put the cats in the towed car, and obviously the kids would be in my car. And I was like, I just don't think that's going to work for me.
Like, I'll take my kids in my car.
Yeah, I want you to carry me, my kids.
Is that it? Like,
and tow your car to California, which I oh, and by the way, I don't have any money. And I was
worth
like,
a shot, right?
yeah. So I'm a nice guy, but that's a little over the top. I had a couple others. Someone wanted me to carry some stuff for them, and I'm real skeptical of carrying anything for anybody because just the culture of the law enforcement in this country. If I'm the driver of the car and it's in the car, it belongs to me, and so. So they're asking like carry bottles of baby food to California, which I just want to put them in a UPS box and ship them. I'm not going to carry your drugs to California. Sorry.
Bottles of baby food.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm sure the white stuff was baby food.
So did anyone just like need a ride?
Nope. They were the only one.
We were the only ones?
Well, there was one other guy who wanted to get a ride. He was legit, I think, at first, but he just kind of got crazier and crazier as our conversation went on. Like, at first he wanted to be dropped off at either Flagstaff if we went across 40, because 40 hits Flagstaff, or if we went to the south, he wanted to be dropped off at Tucson, because 10 goes right through Tucson. I said, okay, well, that could work. That's about 3/4 of the way there. That's pretty good. And then it became, well, I think I'll go all the way to San Diego with you. I'm like, oh, well, that's great, too. That's like, well, hey, maybe I would go on to San Francisco. You can drive me up to San Francisco. And that's like, I think that's like, 5 or 10 hours further north from where I'm going. And I'm thinking to myself at this point, if he doesn't know where he wants to go, he's probably not real serious anyway. Yeah. He just wants a ride somewhere for some strange reason.
See what he can get out of it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, so at that point, you'd already messaged me when it started getting weird, and I just told him, look, this is getting a little too weird for me. I already have a more serious person, and moving on. Never heard back from him after that.
Yeah, the Craigslist thing is, it's why I like couch surfing in a way is it's a bit more serious. Well, it can be, but you can see how serious someone is based on their profile. If someone makes a profile, puts pictures up, if it has references, it shows you that they put the time into showing that they're serious about the message they send you. But then other people don't do anything to their profile, then you see, okay, they're not very serious. And they might be a flake, they might be crazy, who knows?
And there's all the references, too. Which...
But it sounded like you were one person was punctuation challenged. Comma, 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 comma.
I think that's their phone. They didn't know how to do the period. They just did a comma instead. Or they didn't have a space either. Yeah. But yeah, with Craigslist, you just send an email. You can't express yourself as well through just text. There's no human feeling to it. So it's really easy to miscommunicate yourself, but it's also really easy for fucking psycho people to send weird ass messages.
Not only that, one of the things that made me pick you out of the other people was you had correctly formed sentences in proper English that wasn't text speak.
That's the only reason I like him too.
Well, for me, if you can't be bothered to write a complete sentence, I can't really be bothered to answer.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of how you're not serious about communicating with me if you can't be bothered to form a correct sentence, or at least attempt to form a correct sentence. Yeah. I got a few replies that were just, love to go to California, text me. And I'm like, okay. Are you male or female? How old are you? Do you have a driver's license? These were things I asked in my ad,
Well, this is actually, it's really funny because, like I said, you're around my dad's age, a few years younger. But one way that I kind of knew how I should communicate with you was because of my dad. My dad. Basically, he's a communications professor, and I just know his communication style on the internet. He's just very direct, very straight to the point. This is the internet. I'm using text to convey my message. I can't be verbal. I can't give you any intonation. I can't be a human being. It's just words. So blah blah blah, direct. And I kind of got that vibe from the way you put the ad out. So I tried to respond that.
I tried to use correct English and punctuation in sentences. Yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, if some hippie traveler people were heading over in their RV and taking 3 weeks, maybe they would have written their post differently, and I would have written it very differently based on how I thought maybe they would have preferred to receive it. You know?
The other thing I liked and my wife also liked is you offered to trade digital services for a ride, which I liked. Because I like correct sentence structure, and it's important when you communicate on the internet to be clear and concise and not ambiguous. You don't want to use sentences that can be interpreted two ways. Or
reading through my post right now, I realized because some of it is kind of ambiguous, and I didn't mean for it to be like that.
Well, no, but you were pretty clear. I thought you were pretty clear, and you seem to have, again, you know, proper sentence structure, grammar, and punctuation, which is, you know, I'm not going to say a rarity, but is not common either.
It's a little shocking how rare.
Well, all you have when you're talking to someone on the internet on Craigslist is words.
Yeah. Exactly.
So your words need to have meaning. And, you know, someone who calls and says, you know, or posts and says, love to go to California. Okay, well, I would love to go to California too. But, you know, you're not explaining yourself, who you are, why you want to go, why I should go with you. You know, that's kind of the point of the Craigslist ad and response. So that's what I aim for. But in any event, I'll get too long-winded on that. That was one thing I liked about the ad is you had more than 7 or 8 words. You had several paragraphs.
Well, good. But we fleshed all that out. No, it is interesting, the psychology of it, because I think about it a lot with couchsurfing.
Right. Well, it makes me think you're not just some crazy person. You know, if you have an attention span longer than the 20 seconds it would take, you know, to type love to go to California.
So, word of advice to anyone looking for Craigslist ride shares: use good grammar and show that you have some intelligence in your head. Very strong words of advice. Well, cool. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. Because, we were thinking of hitchhiking, and doing this drive now, I'm so fucking glad we're not hitchhiking. Between the bugs and the weather and the heat and the distance, this is a long way. It's a very long way.
I am now driving for 24 hours. I left at 12:14 yesterday. It's 12:14 now.
1,400 miles, almost exactly. 13.99.
Yeah, 13.99 in 24 hours. Including, well, really 1,259 probably. Because I think we went 20 miles and 20 miles back. And 20, I think 40 of those miles don't really count.
Oh, with the wallet thing.
Yeah, our false
we
start.
should tell that story. You want to tell it? Or want me to tell it?
Yeah, sure. We stopped for our first. Did we get fuel that time, or was it just a food stop?
We just stopped for a snack.
I think it was just a snack and a drink and coffee. I think it was a coffee stop, really.
Potty break and coffee stop.
So we went in, and I came out with 2 Oscar Mayer Lunchables, just, you know, with cheese and crackers and meat in a little plastic container. I had a bottle of V8 juice, and I had a bottle of water, and I had a cup of coffee, so my hands were full. And I also had my wallet and my key to the car. I put it all on the roof of the car. I got in the car, I reached up and I got the food and I got the drinks. Got everything situated. When we drove off, the wallet was still on the roof, apparently. And then about 20 miles down the road, and I'm going, I don't have my wallet. We started looking, so we pulled over. And indeed, the wallet was not in the car. So we, you know, beat a hasty U-turn, drove back, went inside and asked, and no one had turned in a wallet.
This is what, 2 a.m.?
It was about 2 a.m., yeah. And there were some pretty shady characters walking around the truck stop.
Yeah, there were.
Pretty sketchy. And so we backtracked our steps to get on. I remembered I put it on the roof, so I thought maybe it had just fallen off either in the parking lot or on the road. And my hero Kea here found my wallet about, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile down the on-ramp.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the dark. A black wallet on black pavement at 2 in the morning. And,
Meanwhile, I was walking
saved our
the
road
beach.
trip because my only ability to pay was in that wallet.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not even worth figuring out the what ifs, but I'm glad we didn't have to go into the what ifs.
Oh, I had some plans, but none of them involved anything we really wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew we'd find the wallet.
I'm curious, and I'm sure other people would be too, since this is a Craigslist thing. Did it go through your head that maybe one of these 2 random people took your wallet?
No, not at all.
It never
occurred
crossed
to
your
me.
mind?
Well, I knew I'd put it on the roof.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and I knew it'd fallen off, and I was like, I was more worried that some bum in the parking lot that was walking off with my. I didn't think it had a huge amount of cash in. I think it had $100, $150 of cash in it. Nothing outrageous, but it had more importantly, it had my driver's license, which I can't legally drive the car without, and it had my credit card that I'm putting gas on in it, and it had my medical cards for healthcare in it, which give between all that stuff, you have everything you need to steal my identity right there in one place. That was more my concern than the $100.
Wallet, yeah.
So yeah, that was a little scary. It was pretty exciting. That excitement did keep me awake and driving for the rest of the night, though. I think the other two got to sleep for about 4 hours after that because I got to drive, and I was wide awake. Had no problems. A little adrenaline will do that for you.
Yeah. And that's definitely my hope. That's all the excitement we'll experience on this trip.
Yeah, indeed.
We're about halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if we continue on this pace, we'll be in LA by tomorrow morning.
Probably tomorrow afternoon, I'm thinking. Tomorrow afternoon. I'm guessing tomorrow afternoon.
It's pretty crazy you can scale this continent in 2 days in a car. You know?
So for you, what were your thoughts with meeting me when I showed up at your house? You think, who's this kook? Or
Well, I was telling them, Kaya and her mom, for the last few days, I'm like, no, I feel really comfortable to go with this guy. He's ex-military. He doesn't want any funny business. He just wants to take this trip and make it easier. And I said, like, this is the most comfortable I would feel going with someone on a purely destination-based trip. You know, like, I don't know if I told you, but a year ago I drove across the country with a jazz band from Vancouver, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And they were great, don't get me wrong, they were responsible kids, but they were still, you know, partying, drinking, doing drugs when they could. And, you know, I'm 26, and which is cool, like, I'm down with them doing that, but, like, I still want everyone to be safe, and they were still safe. But it was just a much different trip, you know? And I was not the most comfortable a lot of the time. Just because I probably would have been held responsible if something bad would have happened, because I was the person over 21. So it's kind of night and day, especially
little role reversal.
Role reversal, yeah. I don't have to be the father, the babysitter. But anyway, yeah. So don't get me wrong. I would still do a trip like that again. But this is just much more relaxing. But yeah, I was telling them, you know, you're just down to business. You want to get this trip done safely and, you know, without trouble, and that makes me feel good. So when you pulled up, I didn't really have any idea what you would look like or be like, aside from I knew you wanted to get some road behind you, get to San Diego. What about you, Kyle? What did you think?
I mean, it's kind of the exact opposite of how I did my road trip before, when it was 3.5 months driving across the U.S. and just only taking back roads, going really slow, finding a place to stealth camp every night, or going out trekking for like 8 days at a time sometimes. So yeah, to me it's just like a contrast that's interesting, and I've already had that experience of taking it slow and kind of seeing all the little hole-in-the-wall places. So this is nice to kind of just blast through it. And I mean, I immediately felt good energy, good vibration, very intelligent, and my mom felt comfortable with him too. So that's the most important part, that she felt a sense of calm with me leaving. And yeah, I think we just all hit it off really well. We've had lots of intelligent conversation, and it's made the drive pass by quicker, a little more smoothly.
Halfway there. I think we're right about at the halfway mark. A little past, perhaps.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hippie did you think we were before meeting us and after? And now, I guess.
Pretty hippie.
Like, no, 1 to 10.
Pretty hippie. I don't know, 7.
7 before and now?
You didn't smell funny, so you got a couple points knocked off for that.
You might just
The
not
real
be able
hippie
to
smell
smell
bad.
because he smells pretty
I
strong.
don't smell funny?
Huh? Some of your stuff smelled pretty bad. You opened that
I
jar.
did
Oh my
too.
God! I thought I was gonna vomit. I don't know what that was. But there was something putrid in that jar. I'll tell you that. But yeah, but no, not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
And now
No,
we're
at
at
first I was
11.
no. When I got out of the car, I'm like, okay, seems a pretty normal person. You had shorter hair in your picture.
Oh yeah. That's
Your profile's much shorter hair. I of course have no hair. But yeah, so
And then my hair is almost down to my butt now at this point.
I can't really make a South Park reference because you say you don't watch South Park. There was a Die Hippie Die was the name of the episode.
okay.
Die Hippie Die. Get into that after you do the interview.
Yeah.
Pretty funny episode. But no, not too bad. Not at all. Could have been a whole lot worse. But again, you spoke intelligently.
Yeah.
Your mom was also there. That smooths things out a lot. I was mainly concerned that you would think I was some kind of serial killer or something. Okay, well, it's been nice talking to you. See you later. Because,
It's funny, it's like her mom said goodbye, and then you're going to meet my mom on the other end.
Yeah. And then I'm going to see my mom. The whole point of the trip for me is I'm going out to spend a couple weeks with my mom. She's
It's all about nurturing energy.
Uh-huh. So.
Yeah, it's cool. No, I think it's great that, you can get some, company and help driving. We can get a ride over there, and we can all
Get to
become
know a
friends
great
in the process.
person, yeah.
And I've actually learned a lot from you, too.
Yeah.
You've had some really interesting stories. No, and just talking about your job and the databases and what you do.
Well, it's a good trip so far. We didn't get hit by lightning. That was good.
Hey, did you know I learned this on that last road trip? You can't get hit by lightning in a car.
We don't provide a path to ground.
Because the rubber, right?
Yeah, we aren't grounded. The car can get hit by lightning, but
we can't.
Lightning can jump. It can jump a couple inches. The metal wheels are only about that far off the ground. Lightning can make a jump. It's pretty high energy, but we're pretty well insulated here.
Yeah, I remember having a near-death experience driving through a lightning storm once in Louisiana, just flat everywhere. I went, wow, we could really get struck right now and I could die. And then I found out later the chances of that are so small. If anything, I think your car could get hit and fry you inside, but you wouldn't actually get hit by lightning.
But your car can get hit though.
The car would have to get hit and malfunction pretty bad. So I think that's all. I think that's everything. Any other points to hit on?
I think that's about it.
Cool. Well, thanks for doing this conversation. Oh, that was the other thing. Sorry, last thing. The reason I call this the digital nomadics is because there's this element of being a hippie, nomad, whatever, and doing whatever. At the same time, yesterday afternoon, I was finishing up a video for a client on my laptop in your back seat, and then uploading it with your tethered 4G connection to Google Drive, so he could download it and make sure it was good because he needs it by tomorrow night, and we weren't sure when we'd arrive. So, yeah, as hippie as I guess my generation can get, we're still pretty connected to the rest of what the world values as far as technology and even business to a degree. So, cool. Over and out. Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure you hit the big red subscribe button down below. You can also check me out on Facebook and on Twitter, and I release a new video every Monday, and by hitting that subscribe button, you'll get those new videos every Monday. And this is really a podcast. It's also a website. You can check out the website. It's howtodoyour20s.com. I'll put a link right over here as well. And what it's all about is trying to improve your life. And we specifically focus on things that people in their 20s are interested in. So make sure you like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. Like us on Facebook and Twitter, whatever. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again on another video.